guys, Tbo2 here, back with another episode of my Bedrock TARDIS tutorial. In this episode, we're going to be going over the Chameleon circuit for the TARDIS, which will basically allow you to change the exterior shape. So I'll just show you how this works. You just want to click this exterior button, and check that out. Your TARDIS, in a little puff of smoke, has become a chest. Now, the model's not amazing, but you know, it was made by me, so I am planning on improving this in the future, but for now, this is the best I could do. So yeah, and if we click it again, it's back to our police box. So immediately I want to go over how this works. Come over here to this Chameleon circuit section, and if you don't have one, obviously just make one. And this is very similar to our other cyclers, and basically it's just execute if the button is pressed. In this case, it's a mangrove button at certain coordinates. Button underscore pressed underscore bit equals true, and facing direction equals 1. That is if it's facing this way, the same as what our other buttons were facing. Obviously, you can play with different numbers if your button is maybe facing a different direction or if the command doesn't run. And obviously, when this is run, it's going to power this comparator and power this command block. This one was on repeat and always active, but this one is on impulse and needs redstone. And it's going to do scoreboard, players, add, chameleon circuit, cyclers 1. And that will make it to where even if there isn't currently a chameleon circuit player on the scoreboard, this will go ahead and make one and give them a score on that scoreboard of 1, or add 1 to whatever it was before, which obviously if it was 0, it would now be 1. Now every time you press a button, it'll add 1 to that score, and obviously because I only have those two exteriors, we are going to need to set up a limit, so you just do execute if score chameleon circuit cyclers matches 3 ... meaning 3 or more, then it'll run scoreboard players set chameleon circuit cyclers 1. So once it gets past 2 to any number 3 or beyond, it will set it back to 1, basically just letting us cycle back to the beginning. So obviously it's set to 1 right now. That is for the police box. And if we were to press it, it'll change to the chest. And now the chameleon circuit value is on 2, as you can see. But once it gets to 3, it goes back to 1. So we press it again, goes back to 1 and becomes the police box. On to the actual chameleon circuit itself. What's it actually going to do with those scores? Well, these two are testing for the scores. So this one, for example, is execute if score chameleon circuit cyclers matches 1. And this is if it obviously is on 1, and therefore it's going to become a police box. So the first command block here is very simple. It's just /say exterior set to police box. And then everything after this is a chain command block, meaning you are going to need it to be on chain, conditional, and always active, and make sure all these arrows are facing in the same direction so that the commands will activate one after the other. So this first chain command block is going to be effect @e name equals TARDIS invisibility 1010 true. And what this is doing is it's giving the TARDIS the invisibility effect for 10 seconds on a 10 power, and true means it's going to hide the particles. And that's just so that you can't see the TARDIS when it dies. You probably figured it out by now that the TARDIS entity dies when it changes, so I'd made this invisibility effect to hide it from where it, turns red, falls over, and that is hidden. So the next thing that's going to run is this, which is going to do execute as @e name equals TARDIS @s, run summon cc : TARDIS, TARDIS, meaning it has the name of TARDIS, at its exact position, which is what the tilde means. So basically it is summoning a brand new TARDIS where the previous one was. And in this case, because we are changing it from the chest to the police box, this is obviously the police box entity, as you would have seen in the last episode. And this next command block is just kill @e type equals cc TARDIS underscore chest. So when it switches from one entity to the other, it will turn the TARDIS invisible, summon the new entity, and then kill the old one, basically. And there are two entities, obviously, if you haven't figured it out. We have cc : TARDIS, which is this police box, and we have cc : TARDIS underscore chest, which is our new entity for the chest exterior. Now, that is a new thing in the add-on, so you will need to reinstall the add-on if you haven't already in order to get that chest exterior and any future ones I end up adding. So if we went to like summon, for example, and type cc, we have TARDIS and we have TARDIS underscore chest. So yeah, each individual exterior is a different entity, and we're basically just summoning one and then killing the other. And likewise, this would be the exact same thing. So this one is for chameleon circuit cyclers matches 2. So when the score is 2, it is going to change from the police box to the chest. And how it's going to do that is basically the same process. We're going to do exterior set to chest, and then a chain, and the chain is effect with invisibility once again, and then except here, we would do execute as at E name equals TARDIS add at S, and what are we summoning this time? This time we would be summoning CC TARDIS chest, because obviously that's the one we're changing to. And of course it is also named TARDIS, and summoned at these exact coordinates via the tildes. And then obviously the next command is going to be kill at E type equals CC TARDIS. So as I said, summoning the new one, which in this case is the chest, and then removing the old one, which is CC TARDIS, aka the police box. So yeah, to see that in action one last time. So I pressed the button, it turned it invisible, summoned the new exterior, and then killed the old one, basically. And likewise, we pressed again. Same thing again, and of course every time you're hearing the entity dying and seeing a little puff of smoke to indicate that it happened, but obviously it's invisible, so it looks a bit cleaner, and all you see is that it basically gets swapped out with the new entity. But yeah, this has been my tutorial for the Chameleon circuit for your Bedrock TARDIS. I hope you all enjoyed. I've been Tebow2. Be sure to subscribe, to follow my Instagram, Tebow2AT, to follow my Twitter, which is also Tebow2AT, to join my Discord, and lastly, to have a nice day. Goodbye.